So how do we normally recognize present tense actions?
By the beginning and ending indicators.
Right, beginning and ending indicators tell us that it's a present tense, and they tell us one more thing. They also tell us the
Embedded doer.
embedded doers. Right, so there are a few scenarios, 5 in particular, in which the endings on present tense actions change. Right, they look different.
Okay.
And that's what we call bald action.
Okay.
So in this lesson, we're going to be studying bald actions. And then over the next 5 lessons, we'll be studying the 5 scenarios in which bald actions occur.
Okay.
Okay. So the good news for you is, right, there are 5 scenarios in which these actions occur, but the changes are consistent across the board.
Okay. All right, so bald actions always look the same, but the circumstance in which they happen, there are 5 different circumstances.
Yeah, there are 5 different circumstances.
Okay.
So ready to learn bald actions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and again, bald actions are when your present tense endings look different than what we're used to.
What about past tense?
Past tense never changes.
So this is bald actions only concerns present tense?
Present tense.
All right.
Present tense. So take a look at this chart. Right, this is our present tense chart.
Yeah.
And what do you notice about the endings?
I mean, I'm guessing they've changed.
Yeah, they don't look like what we're used to, right? We're used to seeing yaj'alu, yaj'aluna, taj'alu, right? So it might look overwhelming if you just look at this chart at a glance, but there are actually only 2 consistent changes that happen across this chart.
Okay.
Right, the first is, I want you to look at these ones. Yaj'alu, taj'alu, aj'alu, naj'alu, taj'alu.
Okay.
Right? Normally these ending in what?
U.
U, right? We're used to seeing these ending in U, but what are they ending in now?
Sukun.
Sukun, right? So that's our first change. If it ended in U normally, it ends now in sukun.
Okay.
So that's change number 1.
So Dhamma ending changes to sukun ending, and that sukun ending is the bald ending.
Yes, it's a bald ending. And we're calling it bald because it kind of loses its ending.
It's shaved off.
Yeah, it's like shaved off. Right? And then I want you to look at these ones. Hum yaj'alu. What is it normally?
Yaj'aluna.
Yaj'aluna.
Is they.
Antum taj'alu is normally antum.
Taj'aluna. Tan'una is
Tan'una.
You
Huma yaj'ala is normally huma.
Yaj'alani.
Yaj'alani. Antuma taj'ala is normally
Taj'alani.
taj'alani. Anti taj'ali is normally
Taj'alina.
taj'alina. What's the consistent factor across all of these?
Noons.
The noons, right? What happened? They disappeared.
Okay.
Right, so that's the second change that happens. If you have a noon, the noon gets shaved off.
All right.
Right, so in bald actions, if you have a u, the u gets shaved off. If you have a noon, the noon gets shaved off.
Okay.
Okay, and then let's look at these feminine ones. Hunna and antunna. What do you notice about them? Yaj'alna, taj'alna?
Nothing?
Nothing. Right, they look the same. Right,
Okay.
they look the same. So the hunna and antunna stay the same, whether they're bald or not bald.
Okay. And then how are we supposed to tell if they're
How are we
bald?
so over the next 5 lessons, we're going to be learning the next 5 scenarios in which bald actions occur. And
Okay.
so bald actions don't happen out of the blue, right? They happen in particular scenarios,
Okay.
right? So if you see one of the scenarios, then you'll know.
Okay, so I guess we'll see in the next 5
We'll see in the next.
lessons.
So recap of bald actions. What are the 2 changes that occur?
If it originally ended in Dhamma, it changes to sukun.
Right.
And if there was a noon there, the noon drops.
Right. If there was a noon there, the noon drops, and then the feminine
Stay the same.
stays the same. Right? It's like a woman wearing hijab.
So if she's bald, you can't tell.
Exactly.
She's bald.
She's bald, you can't tell.
Okay, that's a good memory device.
Yeah. So u becomes sukun,
Okay.
noon drops, and then the noon hijab stays on.
All right.
Okay. And a couple hints for spotting bald actions, right? So we know the changes that occur, but working backwards, right? If we see a bald action, how do you recognize it?
Okay.
So if you see a sukun ending, you have a bald action, right?
So-
Because you're still going to have your aitan beginning
Okay.
and the sukun ending.
So sukun ending tells me that it used to be a u, and so I still look at aitan. So for example, if I see hamza at the beginning and sukun at the end, that's still I.
Yeah, exactly. So instead of looking for hamza at the beginning and a u at the end, you look at for hamza at the beginning and a sukun at the end.
Okay.
Right? So you're kind of just swapping out the u for a sukun,
Okay.
right? And then when the noon drops, it leaves behind a vowel, right? Either waw, alif, or ya. So if you look at these, right? يجعلون becomes يجعلوا. You see the wow being left behind.
Yeah.
تجعلون becomes تجعلوا, wow left behind. تجعلين becomes تجعلي, yeah left behind.
I see.
And then the ani, as left behind.
I see.
So either you'll see a wow, yeah, or alif left behind.
Okay. I have a question about that.
Yeah.
So when a few chapters ago we learned about labelless actions, right? And we said that labelless actions are when an action ends in a vowel.
Right.
So alif, wow, or yeah.
Yeah.
So now how do we distinguish between something that's bald and something that's labelless, because they both end in vowels?
Right. That's a good question, actually. So there are two strategies you can use, right? One is the good old age-old advice, know your vocab.
Okay, of course.
Right? And then the other, remember we said bald actions don't just happen out of the blue, right? There are 5 specific scenarios in which bald actions happen.
Okay.
Right? And so those scenarios exist in the context surrounding the word.
All right.
Right? So if it's bald, you'll see, there has to be a reason. And you'll see that reason.
Okay.
Okay.
So as when we learn the 5 scenarios, it'll be clear when something is bald as opposed to not being bald.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So it'll be clear from context
Okay.
once you learn the 5 scenarios. Okay. Ready to try recognize some bald actions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you're going to tell me if it has a present tense beginning. You're going to tell me if it has a bald ending. And then based on that, you'll tell me if it's a bald action, and then we'll find the embedded doer.
Okay. So something that doesn't have... So it's only the endings that change, right?
Yes.
In the present tense.
Yes.
We're still required to have hamza, ya, ta, or nun.
Yes.
At the beginning.
The beginnings remain untouched. It's only the endings that change, and it's those particular changes we saw. U becomes sukun, na drops.
Okay.
Okay. So, and then we recognize the indicators the same way, right? The beginning and the ending, right? And so you have to know what ending disappeared.
Okay.
In this case. So number 1, tuslimu. Do we have a present tense beginning?
Yeah, the ta.
Ta. Do we have a bald ending?
The wow tells us that there was a noon there.
Yes.
And the noon dropped, so yes.
Yes, good. So is it a bald action?
I guess so, yeah.
It is, yes. And then what's the embedded doer?
So it's ta and what used to be una.
Mm-hmm.
So ta and una is you all.
Good, you all. And do you know why we're looking at the beginnings, not just the endings?
To make sure that it is present tense?
Exactly, to make sure it's present tense, because the u could look like a past tense if you just look at the ending, right?
Okay.
So we have to look at the beginning as well.
Okay.
To determine that it is actually present tense.
Okay.
Okay. Number 2, yas'al.
So beginnings, yes, it has a ya beginning.
Uh-huh.
And then bald ending, the sukun tells us that it used to be a u.
Mm-hmm. So it does have a bald ending. Does that make it a bald action?
Yes.
Yes. And then what's the embedded doer?
So ya and u is he, it.
Yeah, he or it. Yeah and u. Because we know the sukun used to be an u. What about ta'lami?
So yes, we have the beginnings, we have the ta.
Good.
Bald ending, yes, the ya tells us that there used to be a nun there.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, it's a bald action.
Good. And then the embedded doer?
Ta, and then if there used to be a nun there, ina, is you feminine.
Good. Ta plus ina is you feminine.
Okay.
Okay. Number 4, yanzuru.
Okay, so we have ya at the beginning.
Good.
So yes, we have a beginning.
Uh-huh.
Bald ending, yes, the wow tells us that there used to be a nun there.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, we have a bald ending.
Good.
And then ya plus una is they.
Good. Ya plus una is they. Okay, last one. Kafaru.
So we don't have beginning.
Right, it's a ka. There's no etan at the beginning. So what does that tell us instantly?
That it is not bald. It's not even present tense.
It's not even present tense, and present tense only occurs, bald only occurs in present tense.
Yeah.
Right, so we know it's a past tense.
Okay.
Right, so it doesn't have a bald ending. It's not a bald action because bald can only happen in present tense. And what's the embedded doer here?
They.
They. Good. Are we clear on bald actions?
Yep.